when I was coaching the team, I was at the center of a lot of these conversations and bridging the gap between the families and colleges. And what is not great in this world where performance data isn't at least part of the conversation. It's not, and we always say, like, it's not the whole thing. Like, if a kid throws hard and like something, whatever, is exceptional or has a really hard exit velocity, but then you go watch her in games and she's an asshole, or she has performance anxiety or whatever. Of course, there's things in the field you need to see happen. So this isn't like training data should be your determiner. No one is saying that. So I think that's just clear. And I think when people take it to mean that's what we're saying, that like literally misunderstands a large part of what we do. But I think that there is this world where when I was on that side, sometimes the college coaches, it didn't make any sense what they were saying. They're like, she's this, she's that. And you're like, but
no, they're not.
No, they're not.
Right.
And so then all of a sudden that kid and that family starts chasing things. For instance, like we need you to be able to throw up in the zone. It's like, no, you don't. That kid doesn't do that. And also we know that she doesn't need to do that. So you might say, we need an up ball kid and you are not that, but like, that's whatever. But this idea of like grabbing random things, I had a kid that I was helping, and like she would go to camp and they're like, we need her to be faster on defense. And I was like, I actually don't like, one, like the upside of her is, it's not defense, but also like, I'm not sure that's ever like been feedback. And then it's like the next time she went, they were like, she did great on defense, but now we need she didn't quite do this. I'm like, how am I supposed to give that feedback to the athlete? For one, from my standpoint at this point in the OGX world, we're not going to sell a kid that we don't think actually has the skill set to play at that level, because part of what makes us who we are is sort of like an actual understanding of what scales at the next level. And so if we're misrepresenting that in some way with our athletes, that's not super helpful to anyone. It's not helpful to the athlete. It's not helpful to the coach. And so there is this level sometimes where I'm trying to talk to the coach about sort of like real. These are the real things that she can do. These are the real holes that she currently has. These are the real things it feels like it could go. And of course, you need to go watch that in a game and see how it pans out, or if that fits your mold or your culture. And there's all kinds of things that go into it. And then they're coming back with just like gibberish. And a lot of it is because the way camps are structured, they're not measuring any of that. It's just they want the kid to come to a camp, for instance, to see if they're fit, and then they're just in like these stations, and they just like happen to see a station where it didn't pan out the way they wanted to or something. So I just think it's, when we're trying to bridge this gap, the power of data and sort of understanding what is successful and really being able to bridge this gap is when we know what works at the top level. And if that's what you're shooting for, you can really start to have some honest conversations of, how close to that are you? Are you already there? So, there's the kids you're talking about who are like, okay, they're the top 1%